Hello everyone, I am V. Bharat. Welcome to today's session about the web accessibility evaluation tools. So, in this session, we will mainly deeply dive into the topics of the Wave evaluation tool and the Google Lighthouse evaluation tool. So, coming to the agenda, what are accessibility tools? Before we jump into the technical details, so accessibility tools are nothing but there are web services which can be installed, or you can also take a URL of any website, and through these web accessibility tools you can find the errors and what are the barriers that are facing in the website, like the elements, HTML elements and image elements, etc. So, basically it is telling about how interactive the website is, how responsive the website is, and also how well accessible for the website is for everyone, including the users with disabilities, users with cognitive defects, etc. And also we will be seeing in this session, apart from not only the web accessibility tools, like how it can be extended to mobile interfaces, like which tools can we use in the mobile interfaces, like default tools for Android and even in the iOS. And at the end of the session we can also compare like what are the general differences between these tools, if any tools like providing much more effective generated report than other tool, or what are the similarities, and who benefits from these tools, and also what are the limitations and all. What is the purpose? Like it is mainly used by developers. It can be used by anyone, like developers or even students, like who want to design a website or who want to test like how the website, how much the website is accessible, how much the website design elements are, how effectively implemented and all. So, for the testing purposes, now we shouldn't rely only on the web accessibility tools. First, we generally check up on the manual testing. In every scenario of web evaluation, manual testing is must and mandatory. Then we can go for the automated testing. And before this and all, we also must check the compilers checking, whether it is following the WCAG guidelines, and also it is adherence to those guidelines, and it is not crossing any limitations apart from the WCAG guidelines and all. So, as I mentioned, there are many more web accessibility tools in the internet. You can also even search it up, but here in this session we are mainly focusing on the Wave evaluation tool and also Google Lighthouse. So, these can be installed in the web interfaces from many categories, such as the browser extensions and online services and desktop applications, and also the command line tools which are defaultly installed in the web services or web browsers. And what are those evaluation tools? So, how these tools work from the front end, or how these tools evaluate the whole interface of the website. So, basically it will do the code analysis of the whole website front end, which is basically the HTML part of the interface. As you know, HTML is a building block of the interface UI, and it then inspects the DOM evaluation and how well the JavaScript elements and CSS elements are well implemented in the interface. Now, introduction to the Wave tool. So, Wave tool, like web accessibility evaluation tool, is developed by the Web IIM, which is the web accessibility in mind. So, Wave tool is a free and open source, and also it can be used by anyone, as there is no registration or anything. It is actually free and open source, and also it has like visual features such that anyone while testing the website can easily locate or detect what are the errors and what are the barriers in the elements and what can be changed in the website interface. So these type of categories and these type of analysis can be produced by the Wave tool. So it is basically much easier to analysis rather than any other tool, even the Google Lighthouse tool. And also it can be installed through multiple ways, like it can be of web based, or you can also install it from the Google Chrome web store as a plugin to the website, and it will automatically generate the analysis report of the interface that you have installed in the web browser. So why should we use Wave evaluation tool? First point, as it is very user friendly, like it has very clear visual cues and clear visual explanations, and it also locates the defect elements very properly and in very efficient way, such that also it gives a clear explanation in detail for every element which are causing any accessibility issue or any error issues, or even it will alert the it also has alert elements which has a potential risk in the accessibility part. Also in the educational sense, it also like helps many developers and many students to learn what are the accessibility principles, and also what WCAG guidelines should be followed in while designing a interface on any of the websites. And also mainly because of its real-time analysis, it will generate the instant analysis of that interface with much more accurate results than any of the tools that is present in the web services. And coming to its advantages, like we don't need much technical knowledge for testing the Wave tool, like it can be used by any of the users, like even elders can also understand what are the analysis that is generated by using the Wave tool, as it has better visual cues and all, and also it has multiple report formats for better understanding for any of the user, like summaries and details and documentation views. As I said, like it has open source benefits, like it is free for all, and also you can also check out the code, the source code for review and all, and it can be also integrated into the development workflows, like what HTML code can we manipulate to make the website much better accessible for everyone. So also the advantages, as I mentioned, like explains each accessibility issue, that is the what errors, like if the image doesn't have any alt attribute type, or what are the ARIA issues it has and all. So how to use this Wave tool? So there are two methods, as I mentioned. It can be installed through multiple ways. One is that we can visit the wave.webim.org, where we can paste the URL of any web interface that we want to analyze, and then we can click the Wave it to start the accessibility analysis. There it will generate the whole report. Second method is the direct web browser extension. We can install the Wave extension from the Chrome or Firefox store. I can show you the demo now. So as you can see, in the Chrome web store, we can search it of web evaluation tool, where we have installed it as a plugin. So after the installation, the plugin will be added in the extension session here. So, how to test the wave evaluation tool? Suppose, let us take an example, any web interface, suppose the Passport Seva portal. As you know, like the government Passport Seva portal have many accessibility issues, and also it is much more challenging to elders or anyone, like comparing to any other interfaces. So, in the Passport Seva website, after opening the interface, we can go into the extensions, and here when we click the wave evaluation tool, it will automatically on the analysis report on the left side of the panel. This generated analysis is of the of this interface, Passport Seva portal. So, as you can see, this interface has 36 errors and 36 contrast errors, 101 alerts and 4 well implemented features, and also it mentions the structural components of the website and also the ARIA issues. And also we have to check the AIM score here, like it is also a main part of the wave evaluation tool. So, what is the AIM score? It is nothing but the measure of impact of page accessibility issues generally for the users with disabilities. So, where it has a number, where it detects number of detectable errors in the interface and the error density, which the number of detectable errors by each of the page elements, and how much the wave alerts, how much the interface have alerts, like a possible accessibility issues or further accessibility issues that can be solved. So, if a website has much more like AI, if a website has much more AIM score, it generally means the website have much more accessibility than that of the any other website which have lesser AIM score. But it also does not mean that high AIM score does not necessarily indicate that the page is highly accessible or compliant with the accessibility guidelines. Though any website, even the AIM score of 9 also have some of the issues in the interface. So, it does not necessarily mean that much score means not much accessibility. So, here you can see how the detailed structure of the defects in the interface. So, this website has 36 error elements, and each of the error elements are divided into category. So, there are 28 missing alternative text and 1 missing form label and 1 empty form label and 6 empty headings. So, what does this mean? So, coming before, so here is a styles option. When we off the styles option, it will generally gives a clear picture of the wave evaluation markups, that as you can see clearly what each of the element, what issue it has been talking about. So, for generally better visual purpose, we can check without the styles on option. Coming to the missing alternative text, what does this mean? So, if any of the visual elements, suppose here in the language Hindi, it has missing alternative text, meaning the image alternative text is not present. When like any user with disabilities, when used the wave evaluation tool, when user with disabilities, when used the screen reader option, they won't able to know what the image text is readed. So, coming to the demo, how we can use the web evaluation tool in the web interfaces. So, we first I will show you the method one where we can install it through a, first I will show you method 2 where we will install through it as a browser extension. So, we can check it in the Chrome web store where it is already present, web evaluation tool. From it you can install in the home page extension. So, here in my system I have already installed the extension. You can also try the extension in your browser. So, after installation of the extension, we can take any portal. For example, we will choose the Passport Seva website as it has many challenging elements in the interface UI design. As it is a government website, many elders and even many aged people between 30 to 40 years old also facing those accessibility issues in the government websites like Passport Seva website, and also even in healthcare websites and Aadhaar card websites, etc. So, we will choose Passport Seva website. So, this is the interface of the Passport Seva website. So, while in the interface, here you can see in the extensions tab web evaluation tool. So, when we click the web evaluation tool, it will automatically generate the whole report of the interface. As you can see, the report is in the left panel of the interface where it shows how much defect or how much errors and what are the potential risks in the accessibility in this interface, and also it also tells like how well the features have been implemented in the interface, and also it tells about the structural components in the interface and also the ARIA elements. We will talk about the ARIA later. So, also it also in each of the website it also generates a score which is the AIM score. AIM score is nothing but it is a measure of impact of accessibilities on the web page, where any user like user with disabilities or user with cognitive issues would like to when they access the website, like how much it is detecting the errors, and also the error density, which is nothing but the errors caused by the elements in the website, and also the wave alerts. Alerts is nothing but the potential barriers of the website which can be solved easily. So, AIM score is generally counted from 1 to 10. So, as you can see, a score of 5 indicates that the website is averagely accessible for the users. But also we should keep in mind that the higher AIM score, that doesn't necessarily mean that the website is following each and every aspect of the WCAG guidelines and it has much more accessibility than any of the website. So, even AIM score of 8 interface, it also contains many issues that we can generate through the web evaluation tool. So, it has total of 5 categories in the, as you can see in the left panel of the generated report, details, reference and order, structure, and finally the contrast. So, we will come into the details. What is this detail session? In the detail session, it will capture like what and how much the elements are causing the web accessibility issues in the interface. So, for much more visual view of the detailed report, we can also switch off the styles component, which is in the top of the generated report here. When I off the styles component, it is much clarity, like the resource complexity also reduces. So, we can have a better view of the elements which are causing the accessibility issues. So, here it is mentioned 36 errors, and also it will give a detailed category of what were the error components. Like as you can see here, there are 28 missing alternative text and form label, missing form label and empty form label component, etc. So, what are these missing alternative text? So, when we click on any of the components, for example, so on the when we click on the visual element of this component, it will show detailed reference, and it will also even show the coding component where the issue is occurring. So, what is this issue? Missing alternative text. So, basically if any users with disabilities, if they try to implement any screen reader access or voice guide access in the interface, so the element does not provide the information about the image element. So, that is the meaning of the missing alternative text. So, generally for every image element or any of the text element, it should contain a alternative text which we can also call as alt attribute. So, what it does is, when the alt text is mentioning what is the image, like the image is about the national call center, like it should have a alt attribute text, or even in the technical terms we can call it in the HTML, like here there is no alt attribute. So, when we call a alt attribute text, it will generally mentions that the image is a national call center. So, users with vision impairments or user with cognitive departments, when they use screen reader option, they will easily understand, okay, this is the image that have been mentioned here. So, here there are 28 missing alternative text, meaning that the website should be much more developed and improved for the overall universal users, mainly impaired users and also the users with cognitive issues. And coming to the next error, one missing form label. What is this missing form label? So, a form control does not having a corresponding label. So, labels in the sense, so any drop down box or any text field box will have a label that mentions that, oh, this is the drop down box. So, if as I said, like if any impaired users using the screen reader option, so when the screen reader is coming from top to bottom, it does not necessarily mention that this is a drop down menu. So, for that purpose we should also include the form labels for that instance, mentioning that this is a form label and mentioning that this is a map element in the interface and etc. And coming to the empty form label, so it is generally not implying anything on the search bar or anything. As you can see here in the search bar, there is an empty form label, meaning the form label is present, but it does not contain any content in it. What is that content? Like it should mention it is a search or form helper label, such that when the screen reader option is used, it will tell that this is a search option. So, both are similarly same in the aspect of mentioning the content for the screen reader option, mainly which is used by the impaired users and any cognitive issue users. And coming to the empty heading. So, what are these headings? So, as you can see in the interface, there can be headings from H1 to H6 which are arranged according to the structural components of the website. So, what is this empty heading? Here you can see the H4, a heading that contains no content. So, while the screen reader option is used or any accessibility tool is used, it should also mention that this is the heading and this is the content part, or else it will merge those heading and content and the user will think that the heading is also included in the content itself. So, for differentiating between the heading and the rest of the part of the content, these empty heading tags are used in the interface. But as you can see, these errors, like these elements are not implemented well, the labels and the alternative text and the alt tags and all. So, next coming to the alerts. What are these alerts? So, alerts are basically the potential risks in the website, which those are not particularly errors, but they can be solved. For example, here there are two orphaned form label. So, what is this form label of orphaned form label? So, orphaned form label is generally when the label exists, but it is not linked to any of the input field. So, the label is there visually, but the screen readers cannot contact it to the correct input. Like as we can say, the label is mapped improperly to the text or any of the image element. So, basically it is marking wrong, and these are some of the other alert elements like missing first level heading, which basically the section doesn't have any H1 heading. So, H1 is the main heading and H2 is the subheading, and H3 goes on with the subheadings and all, H1 to H6. So, 10 possible heading alerts, and for much more reference of what it is mentioning, you can also check here. So, it will go through the reference tab, where it will detailedly explain what it means and why it is occurring and how it can be resolved and what are the algorithm, like how it is analyzed and all. So, text appears to be a heading, but it is a not heading element. So, as I have mentioned, H1 to H6 providing important document structure and also the outlines and navigation. So, what to do for solving this issue? Like if the paragraph is in a section heading, like normally the paragraph should be in the below of the heading section. So, we should use something H2 or H3 etc. And also you can see the guidelines what it is following and all. So, these are the small text issues. It can also improve, like if we increase the pixels amount and all. And justified text. What are these justified text? So, if any large blocks of elements or any of the word spacing and like word alignments and sentence alignments, so these are the justified text, and these can be changed from the HTML front end. So, coming to the features. So, features is actually positive impact of the interface, where it generally tells about like how well the accessibility features, like the alternative text. Here you can see the alternative text has been implemented well in these components, and also there are empty alternative text in the without any content, like in the map section, for example, we don't need any alternative text. For example, alternative text is basically a null or empty alt attribute. So what does it mean actually? So like if the image like does not convey or any content of the image, for example, in the here in the map section, for example, while using any screen reader option, it doesn't necessarily like mention each of the content in the map, right? Like even if we use voice guide, it doesn't, like there will be an error. So what does it mean? To ensure that it is ignored by screen reader and is hidden when the images are disabled. So when we use the screen reader option, it will generally reads or any causing any issue, like what the screen reader purpose, so it will distracts. For example, I am using the screen reader option for just reading out of the content, but while using screen reader, it doesn't only specify to a specific portion of the part, it will directly come from the top to bottom, where it reads wrongly the contents of the image elements which we don't need. So for that purpose, we will use the alt attribute as a null value. We shouldn't use alt attribute as null in the content part, but we can use the alt attribute null in the necessary part, where we want the screen reader option not to read that part. As I told, we don't need to read every content here in the map. For example, Shimla, Chandigarh and any Ambala, etc. It causing a time waste. We are using screen reader for mainly for the purpose, for the content purpose. So as you can see, these are the some components in the features, like image is well implemented with the alternative text, and also a skip link also used. What does it mean? Like the link is highlighted with the blue contrast, as you can see here, and also the skip link target, and also the what is this language. So identify in the language of the page, like the portal, the interface is in the English language, or if we change it in the any other languages, it will show on the top of the web page. So these features are well implemented, so it is much more accessible. And then coming to the structural components. So what are these structural components? So before the structural components, I have to say that every interface has structural components like the headers, and then it goes to the navigation part, navigation, and then again headers and all. So headers, the main portion part, and bottom of the website are the footers here, as you can see. So how well the structural elements have been placed in the interface. As I mentioned, H1 to H6 are the structural and headings, subheadings, etc. And how well the unordered list have been presented. So unordered list is nothing but the set of for example, we can take the menu header, where in the menu section, like it has many options such as login, sign up, etc. Those all elements come under a unordered list. So that is what it implies. And then for inline frame, as you can see, what is this inline frame? In the bottom of the website, if there any email or contact details exist, it generally depicts that the inline frame. And so these are the structural components. And coming to the ARIAs, so there are 157 ARIA issues. So what is basically ARIA? ARIA is generally accessibility rich internet applications. So it is basically a supported element for the accessibility issues. Meaning if we use ARIA in the ARIA as a element, it will mention like ARIA label equal to hidden. What does it impact? It will hidden the unnecessary elements in the website. ARIA label equal to, as you can see, ARIA labels. So ARIA label equal to footer menu, meaning in the bottom of the web page, which is the footer section, there is the footer menu. You can also check the details of what does the label implies and all, the attribute is present or not. And also you can also on the technical side, you can here click on the code. Even we can check in the HTML side of the code, as you can see, as you can see in the table index. So the table index value is generally, if it is less 0 or less is present. What does it mean actually? You can check in the ARIA tab. So basically in the keyboard navigation order, you can easily navigate into any tab key. If like a value, if it is less than 0 or even typically -1, it removes an element from the keyboard flow. So these are the ARIA issues, ARIA button issues, where like so ARIA is generally, it is allotting roles to each of the elements in the interface for better accessibility. Like the role is button, and if we coming to the any image content though, so it will allot the role as image. And if we go into any of the header or even footer part, the role is footer and the role is header, etc. So these are the ARIA issues. So, and as I mentioned, it also have the ordered section of the interface. So the first order comes to the skip to main content. So each are connected in the interface. So how well the website is connected to each of the components in the website, the register button, and also you can see when I click the login button, it is connected to something. And if I clicked view more, then it will automatically go. So how well the interfaces are connected and how well the components are connected well in the website. So the structural part which I have already discussed, like the headers part and the navigation and the main content part region, and at the last end of the web interface, which is the footer section. So coming to the contrast section. So generally the contrast section implies that how well the text and the background color like are well arranged, and is it really visible to the user for universal users, like users with cognitive defects or users with visual impairments, etc. How well the contrast is maintained in the interface. As you can see here, the contrast ratio is 8.59:1. So according to the web WCAG guidelines, the contrast is generally should maintain 4.05:1 for the basic WCAG AA contrast guideline. It is the standard ratio, like 4.05:1. So here what does this imply? WCAG guidelines have like structural A components, which implies the critical mandatory for the contrast issues. For example, WCAG-A. It is the basic accessibility contrast that should be implemented in any of the interface. So, it is basically a default contrast mode that should follow in the website interface. And next is the WCAG-AA, where it will, where in the, we can see if the for the elder users the contrast should be much and much better, and we should only mainly focus on the contrast issues for the for users with for aged users and all. So, the 4.05:1 is the standard contrast mode for the WCAG-AA. 4.5:1 is the standard WCAG-AA. So, coming to the contrast session. So, what does this imply? So, basically in the interface where the like text elements and image elements, so how the contrast is well settled compared between the background and the element. So, here you can see, the contrast is well implemented. As you can see, it differs from the background which is white in color. So, how well the contrast mode, like it is you can check in here in the contrast ratio. So, what is this? As you can see in the WCAG guidelines, it has levels of contrast ratios. So, WCAG-A, it is the basic level for which a website or web interface that should follow the contrast ratios in the website. Here the standard contrast ratio is 4.5:1 for normal text and for normal elements and all. And next, for large text to meet the next level, which is the WCAG-AA. So, it is like a hierarchy where the basic requirements is the WCAG-A guidelines, and next it goes on to the WCAG-AA guideline and so on. So, but the standard structure is that of the 4.5:1 ratio, and for the level AA, which is the WCAG-AA. So, 1 for normal text, so 3:1 for large text and all. Oh, it will be something like 18 points system, 18 points and all, and level AAA, level WCAG level AAA. It also should follow 7:1 for normal. As you can see, when I move this meter from 7 above 7, it will show passing. So, for the valid of the WCAG AAA guideline, it should meet the requirement 7:1 as a basic requirement. This is how we can use the wave evaluation tool in any of the interfaces, and also you can directly use in the wave.webim.org, where we can directly copy paste the web URL. It will directly generate the report. Similarly, which we used as in the extension. I don't know why it is coming error. I think the URL might be wrong, but you got the understanding like how the both methods can be used, right? You can directly copy paste any of the URLs. For example, Aadhaar website, where you can paste in the URL. It will generally generate the report by itself. So, these are the two methods. So, how the wave evaluation tool that can be implemented. As I have mentioned, like the summary panel and the details panel. So, 5 panels where it detailedly explain the analysis report, like what elements are causing the issues and all. So, these are all which I have covered already. The red meaning it has the missing alt text, and what elements are causing and all, etc. And yellow causing the alert systems like potential barriers which can be reduced, and green visual meaning that how it is properly arranged, like how the elements are properly arranged in the website and all. And blue is the structural component in the analysis report. So for we can opt the styles of for better visual view of the elements which are causing the issues in the accessibility in the interface. And also as I mentioned ARIA, so ARIA is basically a support system for the elements for the accessibility purpose. So it will allocate roles for each of the element, for example ARIA label, ARIA hidden, and ARIA footer, etc.